Everybody has been screaming at me for a 300ZX video. Well, you're getting a 300ZX video and you're getting a lot of value. Let's get it. Honest twin turbo 300ZX review. This may hurt some feelings, but I don't care. I guess we can start with, what is it like driving a twin turbo 300ZX? Nice looped around right here. Handles great. Coilovers aren't great, still handles good. Actually, you know what? I'm about to go on a rant, bro. And basically, to go along with the question of how it's like driving this car, I just want to say and put out there, this is probably one of the most underappreciated Japanese cars, JDM legends out there. 1000%. If you go on YouTube right now, top JDM cars is R32s, R34s, Toyota Supras, JCX 100s, Evos. But the 300ZX gets little to no love. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it is a little frustrating because I just feel bad for everybody that's like missing out on how just epic and JDM this car feels when you're driving on the road. The feeling that you get just driving this car, you're driving around, some people are like, yo, what's up, nice 300ZX. It's just a different feeling. So I got this car around 2 years ago, and the feeling that you get when driving it, it's not easy to describe, but it's like when you step into the 300ZX, it feels like a little time capsule. It feels like you went back in time to like 1992, 1995, I think these cars were made up to 2000, but it just feels like a little time capsule. You're going back to the Japanese days. It is still pretty quick, relatively quick. It feels good. You get the sounds of the VG. You get the feeling of the turbos. It feels really, really raw, but it's also extremely comfortable. This car is probably more comfortable than my 370Z and G35. Not even lying about that. I don't know if it's the seats. I don't know what's good. Maybe Nissan back then was like, yo, we need to make the car more comfortable. And now Nissan's like, yo, we're gonna go bankrupt. Just forget about making anything comfortable or making anything good. I love you, Nissan. So when it comes down to driving experience, this car's completely different. And there's one big reason why. You got T-tops. When I first got it, I never really took the T-tops off because I mean, it's a little weird having people looking at you, but it does change the drivability of the car drastically. You feel a lot more like in touch, I guess you could say. You hear the turbos more. You hear the turbos more, you hear more of the exhaust. It just feels good, especially if you live like in a sunny state. It's just nice. I'm gonna do a full turn right here. I mean, it does have a good amount of body roll. I mean, back then, if you compare cars from back then to now, it is two completely different worlds when it comes to drivability. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not really that bad. Hello. One thing I noticed, the older crowd is definitely more of a fan of this car than the younger crowd, which is super cool. I come from a 370Z, which is more of like the younger crowd, and then you get in this car and there's like older people saying what's up and saying that they really like your car, and it's really cool. It's a really cool change. Let's be honest, the car is definitely not perfect, so let's talk about the bad parts. This car from factory did come with a high cast. The high cast never really worked as well as the R32 GTR, and also with time going by and the Lizzie 300ZX getting older, it kind of just worns out and people just end up doing a high cast delete. It being from 1992 and an older car, a lot of things just suck. Look at that, look at that wind. For example, I had to redo the whole trim, had to repaint the whole car, still have to fix up my interior a little bit. There sadly is still some rust, especially in the hatch. Oh, and that right there is just from me not washing the car. As soon as I wash the car, all that goes away, but there's still a little bit of rust. And I've said this before on the channel, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a headache having this car due to the fact that it's old and you're always like waiting for something to go wrong. Even if you do it right, I don't care who you are, if you, unless you like literally just strip the whole car down to the chassis and then build it from there up, you're gonna be worried about something going wrong. That's guaranteed. And that might cause the car to just sit around and you not drive it as much. The 3.0 twin turbo has definitely still held up to the legendary twin turbo Nissan name. And this car actually has 180,000 miles, which is insane. Engine has never been rebuilt and he drives amazing. One of the things I've said way too many times, and I'm gonna jinx myself, but one of the things is this car has always ran amazing for me. I'm super grateful. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lizzie. But of course, it being an older car and a VG, super hard to work on and does bring a lot of trouble if you don't access things early on. Like if you're not doing maintenance and you're not keeping up on the car, it will not run to its full capacity or not run at all. Don't want to be one of those guys, because the VG can be great, but it can also be a very big headache. But if you are willing to put up with all those problems, then this might be the car for you. Oh, and another thing, it is extremely weird reviewing your own car, because it's like my car and like I own it, so it's a little weird reviewing it. I haven't driven it in a while though, so that's, you know what else is really weird though? That you guys have not smashed, just absolutely smashed that like and subscribe button. What's good? If you're watching right now, you have not liked and subscribed, just do it. It takes like 5 seconds. Helps the channel so much, help me out so much. And just thank you. Thank you if you already did. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So when it comes to my mind, I'm like, oh, I want to own a twin turbo 300ZX or use a 300ZX in general. I generally would not categorize, okay, whoa. I would definitely not categorize it as a daily. I would not daily this car at all. I would definitely not daily this car at all. I mean, you definitely can. I'm not saying you can, but only a select few are gonna daily drive this car and actually enjoy it, because if you daily drive this car, it will, I hope it doesn't, but things will break and you're gonna have to fix it. If you're one of those guys where you like working on cars but you don't like fixing them, you might fall in the category of the guys like that shouldn't daily drive it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to drive this every single day, but it's just not practical, it's not smart, and it's just, actually, what am I saying, bro? If you want to daily drive it, daily drive it. You definitely gotta ask yourself this. Do I want to be in like a newer car that's a little nicer and the probability of that breaking down when I'm driving is much less? Or do I want to be in a twin turbo 300ZX? It looks cool, it's comfortable. Maybe not as much room as the other car, but it just looks cool, it's comfortable, and it is a legendary car that you want to see on the road. That's good. So with its extremely good looks and legendary appearance, there definitely comes a con. And like I said before, this car is not the most reliable, but then again, it is also very extremely hard to work on. So you're either gonna spend a lot of money paying a mechanic to do it, which I don't recommend, or you can subscribe down below, watch this channel, and learn how to work on this car. If you're gonna own a car like this, I definitely recommend you know a thing or two about just mechanic stuff in general, because it does cost a lot of money to work on this car and a mechanic's gonna charge you a good amount. You can either see it as a bad thing or a good thing. You can learn about cars while having fun working on your car, or you can see it as, I hate my life because I just spent 10 hours putting down pipes on this car. Link in the description for that video. Actually, from a personal experience, when I had to do the timing on this car, I actually took it to a good friend of mine to do it for me, because I just didn't trust myself to do it. I didn't want to take that whole week and a half or 2 weeks of learning how to do it and doing it and then having it messed up. So I just said, this is something very important that I just don't have time to do right now, and I took it to someone. Other than that, pretty much done everything on this car. This car is treating me extremely well. It's all recorded on this YouTube channel, so I hope I can provide you guys as a help to getting this car in case you do decide to get it and you need help fixing something. Comment down below, reach out to me on Instagram. I'll try my best to help you guys out. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool car. I think it's a legendary car that its time hasn't come yet, but I feel like its time is gonna come very soon. Last thing, quirks and features. This car has some really cool ones that when I first got it, I was in love with. Out of factory, they actually come with a detachable steering wheel. I'm just kidding. That'll be pretty fun. Can you guys imagine? That'd be funny. Kind of like the Skyline, you have nothing here. Everything is right here next to the steering wheel. Me personally, I feel like this looks better than the Skyline ones. Just saying, they look very similar, but these are better. Here you have, I actually have no idea what that is. Then here you have cruise control, which I actually took out of my car, weight reduction. Here you have the lights. On this side you got hazards. Here you got the AC controls. Here you got the wipers. It's really cool. Here, if it's a twin turbo, you got the boost down here. Nah, those are the mileage, my bad. This is boost right here. Then you got RPMs, miles per hour, coolant temp, and obviously gas gauge. This right here. Look at this little mirror. It's so weird. It has like a sticker, and then it goes, it's like a sticker. It's weird. I don't think I have one. Look at that, I don't have one. What? So I can't look at myself because I'm driving? Oh, another really cool thing, or not really cool, it's actually kind of a hassle, but So these cars, since they're older, they don't have OBD2 little scanners. They have OBD1. So a regular OBD2 plug would not fit in here. You would have to get an OBD1 plug. Dude, people are so smart. There's actually like a little trick you can do, which you get a paper clip. I've done it before. I'm gonna put a clip right now. How to pull the code on the 300 if you don't have an OBD1 reader. And to be honest, I feel like this is much more simple. All right, so this is your OBD1 port right here. We're gonna go ahead and short out this pin to the right and the top one on the right. The reason why it's blinking, it's giving you a wide variety of codes, which I'm gonna put a picture right here, and I actually have to look at myself the picture so I can see what. Oh, and I almost forgot, guys. I got nitrous, and with that being said, I'm gonna leave it off right here. Thank you so much for watching this honest review on the Twin Turbo 300ZX. My name is Danny. If you have not yet done it already, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know if you guys would still buy one. I love this car. I'm super happy that when I bought it, I got very, very, very lucky, especially the circumstances. If you guys don't know the story about this car, I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Go watch a couple of the videos, or that video that I don't want to hold you guys any longer though. Have a beautiful day, and with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oh, hasta luego. Oh, subscribe to the podcast channel. Link in the description. Love you guys.